Welcome to Legend of the Galactic Heroes, episodes 75 through 86. Just a casual look through what's going on so far. And yes, there's a lot to discuss here, and it's probably some of the most emotionally gripping episodes you'll see. So if you think that, oh, by the way, if you have not seen this anime, there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this. So I'm giving you a warning now. Anyhow, if you think that Kitty Ice's death was bad, guess who dies in this? And it was horrible. I was shocked because I did not see that coming this soon. Same thing with Kitty Ice, but it happened anyways. So from where I left off, Ruenthal and Mittermeier are again focusing their sights on Oberstein. They don't trust him. They think he's up to something. They even go. I mean, people are going as far as to say that Oberstein was the reason why Kitty Ice died. If you recall back in the series, Oberstein he didn't really favor Kitty Ice, and he even warned Reinhardt to not give him favoritism. Now that I'm in the fourth season, I suppose this will be elaborated upon. In the beginning of where I left off, Ruenthal gets caught up in a conspiracy because Rubinsky is again instigating in the background, trying to turn the Empire against itself, and they try to set up Ruenthal with the situation he had with the woman, and he had a kid, and Reinhardt finds out, but instead of punishing Ruenthal, he gives Ruenthal another chance. He actually gives him another position. I think a better position too. Besides, following that, there's another great war going on, and this is the one that Yang Li begins to cause yet another heavy blow to the Empire by killing multiple of Reinhardt's admirals. And Reinhardt is losing it. He's just tired of constantly losing to Yang Wenli over and over and over again. Despite all he does, despite all his advisors, despite all his tactics and efforts, despite his overwhelming size of his own fleet, Yang Wenli just completely manhandles him and kills his admirals. However, unbeknownst to the Empire, they had managed to kill Fisher. The thing about Fisher that I didn't realize till these recent episodes is that Fisher is crucial towards helping Yang Li be successful in his tactics, because Yang Li cannot do anything by himself. He's not dangerous because he's Yang Wenli. He's dangerous because of what he can do with his fleet and his other admirals. And Fisher was a devastating loss for Yang Wenli, and the Empire didn't even know that they had killed the one man that was holding his plans together. So at this point, Yang Wenli is crippled. I don't even know if he could have came back from this, but they were in a bad position after the last fight they had. Though they did cause some heavy losses on the enemy. Also, prior to that, the Earth cultists are at it again, along with Rubinsky, as I mentioned earlier, and they had done a terrorist attack that killed some of Reinhardt's higher ups, and I was on the edge of my seat because Oberstein got blown up, but he survived. I mean, he looked like a bloody mess on the floor, but fortunately he survived. Some other people got blown up and they survived. And now the main part of this batch of episodes is what happens at the end. And so Reinhardt wants to meet with Yang Wenli and talk over a peace treaty after being embarrassed by Yang Wenli again. And the Free Planet Alliance, well, not necessarily the Free Planet Alliance, but the faction that Yang Wenli is a part of, are saying this could be a trap. But Yang Wenli, being Yang Wenli, he says he's gonna go there and talk to them. The youth doesn't think that they'll resort to cheap tricks, and this is a weakness that Yang Wenli has. People who are very important in history, who have caused great changes, who are great fighters and tacticians and thinkers and freedom fighters, they always make the mistake of assuming that their enemies have morals, that their enemies would never do the wrong thing. And Yang Wenli makes this mistake. and it happens twofold, because the Empire had already planned it out that they were going to kill him and use the peace treaty as bait. And Oberstein even offered himself as a sacrifice, to the delight of Mittermeier and Ruenthal. However, there was more going on in the background. The Earth cultists ended up impersonating Empire soldiers, and they were the ones that ended up meeting up with Yang Wengli and some of the government from, I think, El Facil, I think it was. Or it might have been Henderson, I don't remember. And so then comes the part that floored me. Once Yang Wengli and his comrades board on the plane, they get assaulted by the Earth cultists, disguised as the Imperial soldiers, and people start getting shot down. People from way back from the early episodes get shot and killed in this episode, heavily injured. They're trying to protect Yang Wengli. They tell him to run. They throw him out of the room. And I was really disappointed in Yang Wengli here, because despite being this great thinker, when it came to himself being attacked directly, he didn't know what to do. He didn't try to get a weapon. He didn't try to hide. He just kind of walked like he was basically what I would call a walking sitting duck, because he was walking around just helping the enemy find him. And Julian, they end up finding out the plan, and Julian and the Rittenrose members and some others, they rush to try to help Yang, and they get there and they're looking for him, but unfortunately they were too late. One of the Earth cultists finds Yang Wengli and shoots him in the leg, and to Yang's unfortunate, it pops an artery, and Yang Wengli begins bleeding uncontrollably. And he, Yang Wengli being Yang Wengli, he doesn't take this very seriously. He just says, things don't look too good. Miracle Yang has become Bloody Yang. And he tries to wrap his leg to stop the bleeding, but it's impossible. You can't do it. It was a death shot. And even the guy that shot him said, I killed him. I killed Yang Wengli, and he runs away. So he got killed by some nameless man. Not killed, but he got shot by some nameless man. He's bleeding out in a sort of embarrassing situation where you would imagine that he would fall in a huge dramatic fight, or that he would go out in a big dramatic way. But no, he gets shot and killed like a dog in the street, and he's bleeding out. He's trying to. He shouldn't even be walking. He's walking, and the blood just pumps out of him, and he he jokes around saying that despite that I'm losing blood, my body feels heavier, and his speech starts to slur, his vision is blurring, falls on the floor, and he realizes that, this is it. He's bleeding uncontrollably, he's losing too much blood. This is it for Yang Wengli. And for his last words that nobody got to hear, he just apologizes to Julian, to Frederica, to everybody, and he passes away. And I had to step back, look at the screen, look at the monitor, and just think about it, because this is one of those characters that has had a huge influence on me. I've been watching this series about a month and a half, because I have a lot going on in my life. I can't just be, watching anime all day like I would like to if I could. But I definitely loved Yang Wengli's character. I learned a lot from him. He actually helped me grow a lot politically, consciously, because again, he's based off an important political figure that the author has a lot of respect for and knowledge of. And he passed away. The narrator went ahead and confirmed that he died of blood loss on that date, on that time. They had the very detailed sketch, and I took a good 10 minutes just to sit back and just try to soak in what just happened. I could not believe it. I thought that if Yang would have died, it would have been at the end of the series, not this early. We still got a full season left. And I was just in shock, and disbelief. And it felt like somebody I knew had passed away. Now, some of you might be saying, "Oh, it's a cartoon. He's crying over not crying, but I did cry the second time I watched it." But people can say, "Oh, he's getting emotional over the deaths of a bunch of colors that are animated." But this is a character that was bigger than life, and it's more than just a character in fiction. This is a man that can change anybody's life if they try to really listen to what Yang Wenli had to say and the lessons that he provided for the people that view this show. And my day was ruined. I actually watched these episodes, I think about half of them today, and my day was just ruined with the death of Yang Wenli. Couldn't believe it. I just hope they don't touch Oberstein. Oberstein is another one of my favorite characters. And so after that, the Alliance, well, Yang's group is in disarray. They're not feeling very good because they lost Fisher, who was, you could say, the enabler of Yang's tactics. And they lost Yang Wenli, who was the leader and the representative of the hopes and dreams of his faction, and now he's gone too. And more people start to leave. And now Frederica takes over, and Julian becomes the one to replace Yang Wenli. Now Julian, as I said in other videos, he has grown so much as a character. And again, he is a student of Yang Wenli. And that's precisely why they chose him, because they know that this young boy is not only a student of Yang Wenli, he can also fight on his own. And Frederica makes a very important point, that the point of picking Julian isn't for him to be the next Yang Wenli. It is for him to be the first Julian. And that's very important. That's something that people need to learn from in real life. Here in this corrupt and destructive and depraved world, full of degeneracy and hopelessness, you shouldn't strive to be the next so-and-so. You should strive to be the first of yourself. So Julian is going on with his new journey to become the first Julian, you could say. And he shows promise. You know, he's learned so much these past couple of years since the show started. And now it's up to him to take up where Yang Wenli left off. And Reinhardt now is he was devastated to learn that Yang Wenli died when his secretary told him that Yang Wenli was dead. It looked like Reinhardt was gonna have a heart attack, and he almost collapsed, got down to some furniture and said, "Oh, that can't be. Like, how dare he die? Just not by my hands." And it's pretty obvious at this point that Reinhardt is naturally built for war. Reinhardt does not want peace. And Reinhardt is the type of ruler the type of soldier that needs an enemy. And he needed Yang Wenli to sustain him. He needed Yang Wenli. And without him, he feels like he lost purpose. And he decided to leave the Isolation Fortress alone because he understands that they're mourning Yang Wenli. And now the remnants of Julian and the Written Rose and Frederica, they've declared that they're still continuing and that they have to go on. They have to keep on struggling. And that's where I'm at. And I'll see you again once I finish the series. I'm on the last season now.